Hello and welcome to Super Over Decoded, powered by IDFC FIRST Bank. South Africa versus New Zealand. Now, this is a really important one. South Africa is unbeaten so far in this World Cup. They've looked like the team to beat. They've done really well on these other side. New Zealand, they've stumbled their way to the semi-finals. They've managed net run rate and everything else. And also New Zealand has never beaten South Africa in a T20 World Cup game. We're playing in Kolkata. Obviously, we've seen two different pitches. One, obviously during the league phase, it was a little tacky, a little on the slower side, helped the spinners a little bit more. And then you obviously had the knockout games where it was high scoring. The India-West Indies was a great example of that. Smaller boundaries, good batting pitch, especially South Africa, you were expecting. They've got a lot of big hitters. New Zealand, a couple of big hitters, but not a lot as compared to South Africa. So the venue also kind of suited South Africa a little bit, going into this game as favorite South Africa. And then obviously toss. New Zealand won the toss. They've elected to bowl first, which you would do. And especially in Kolkata, because during this World Cup we've seen different kind of pitches and also the dew factor. You don't know what is a good pass score here is. Good thing that happened with New Zealand. That kind of reduce the gap between the two teams as well, with New Zealand winning the toss and electing to bowl first. But it was going to be one superb game of cricket. That's what everyone was expecting. Semi-finals are not won on the day. They are won in preparation. Hours in the nets, math simulations, scenario planning. So when the big moment comes, the team is ready. They don't scramble, they execute. Life also throws moments which requires readiness. A sudden opportunity, an important commitment, a plan you've been waiting to act on. And when that moment comes, you shouldn't be stuck in the process. With First Money Smart Personal Loan by IDFC FIRST Bank, approvals and disbursals happens in just 10 minutes. So when preparation meets opportunity, you are ready to move. First Money Smart Personal Loans, built for decisive moments. South Africa batting. And now obviously the big thing was how New Zealand in last 11 years have made to 6 finals, have won one, the WTC, but then how consistent New Zealand has been. And now the biggest thing, according to me, why New Zealand always do well in ICC tournaments, multi-nation tournaments, is because one, they handle pressure, which is one thing. Secondly, they do small things or the fundamentals the best, and that is very important, and especially in big games, because that's the reason they're so consistent. And they did that again. The homework, the execution, the basics like the fielding, those things, they are the best at it, and they did that again. McConkey, the off spinner, 2 left-handers, Quinton de Kock, Ryan Rickleton, gone in 1 over, and that was a big setback. And South Africa, we always know that in big games, they do have this habit of getting into their shell. I don't want to use the C word, that's not fair. But they do kind of take a lot of pressure on themselves. And I thought that's what happened after those 2 wickets fell. And that happened quite regularly. Thrice in that innings, 2 wickets fell in close intervals. And what happens is when 2 wickets they fall, suddenly there is a little bit of panic in that dressing room. Brevis at number 4, he's rushing. That's the last thing you want to do as a batter, is to be rushed, putting on your pads, your thigh pads, and you rush and you go out there and you're not in that right frame of mind. So when 2 wickets fall in quick succession, there is bound to be some panic in that dressing room, and it just showed in that South African innings. The wicket obviously in the first half wasn't that great. It was gripping a little bit. I thought it was on the drier side. They just never got out of that 4th gear, apart from the last half. Christian Stubbs and Marco Jansen, especially Marco Jansen, apart from that last 4 overs, they were kind of constrained in their approach. They were very conservative in their approach, because chances are that 169 was never going to be enough on a good batting surface, which it was going to be in the second half. And that is what I thought, kind of the reason behind them getting 169 and not maybe 180. There was a time as well, when Aiden Markram and Brevis and all, it just seemed like they might, But then again, a couple of wickets fell. Then the whole thing came down. The batters again started becoming more conservative. David Miller was very unlike David Miller. He looked very scratchy. The whole mindset that I'm talking about of taking pressure of a big game and also being conservative, because it is only normal that in a big game you are a little conservative, because as an individual, you're talking about semi-final of a World Cup, you don't want to make mistakes, you want to do everything properly. So you somehow lose that sense of fearlessness that is so synonymous with this format. I thought South African innings was just that, but a lot of credit to their planning, because Cole McConkey, he just bowled that one over. That's it. He did not bowl anymore. Lockie Ferguson, brilliant. Matt Henry, brilliant again. These are the reasons why New Zealand, they consistently do so well. It always seems like they're punching above their weight, but it's not that. I mean, it's just that they are a very good example of a proper team, a proper unit playing together. And the bowling effort was just that. Restricting 169 South Africa on what would be a good pitch to bat on wasn't enough, but a really good effort from New Zealand. I think New Zealand won the game in the first half an hour of the second innings. In the first 6 overs, the game was absolutely gone. Could South Africa bowled better, but then the kind of form that Tim Seifert and Finn Allen, and especially Finn Allen, it is unbelievable. It just seemed like with Finn Allen, it was everything came out of the middle of the bat. No edges, no nothing. There are a couple of them when you're trying to hit, but everything was so effortless, and it is so amusing and it is so impressive how not really try that hard but still score at that rate, 33 ball 100. And that was unbelievable batting, unbelievable hitting, but again effortless. It never seemed like he's using a lot of power. I can understand the pitch got better. Just the skill that these guys possess, it is unbelievable. It's mind-boggling. And 169, 170 is right up New Zealand's alley, because yes, you have Finn Allen, you have Tim Seifert, and then Glenn Phillips, who is a hard hitter as well. But then he's batting at number 4. That's a new position for him. Apart from that, you don't have too many batters who have very high strike rates. The idea was trying to get into, and if you had to defend 169, the idea was to get into the middle order as soon as possible. But those two, Finn Allen and Tim Seifert, just took the game away in the first 6 overs itself. He's had a superb last 6 months. He was the highest run getter at BBL. Then he came over from BBL. He managed to play only 1 game against India in that India-New Zealand bilateral series. And there he scored a 30-odd ball 70. You could just see it. I mean, the form that he was. And he's doing the same thing here in this World Cup. Yes, it has been a little hot and cold kind of a World Cup for him. But then it was one of the most fabulous innings that you'd see. Semi-finals of a World Cup, high-pressure game. South Africa, 169 on that pitch. Nah. But one thing maybe South Africa could have done differently. It was the fast bowlers bowling again and again. There was no change, as in get someone like maybe Keshav Maharaj in the power play. Just try something different. It was just the same over and over again. Fast bowling, fast bowling, fast bowling. Maybe that's the only criticism, but the best innings so far of the World Cup as far as I'm concerned. So 169 easily chased down. And into the finals, New Zealand, that's an achievement again. I mean, New Zealand wasn't in my scheme of things in the finals. They weren't, to be fair, in my scheme of things even in the semi-finals. But then, like I said, they always managed to do that, and they've done it again. Turning point for me would be the toss, because obviously the pitch played very differently, or rather differently in the first innings, and in the second it got really better. Now what generally happens is, because of dew, and if the curator thinks there'll be a lot of dew later in the evening, because the dew forms not just on the outfield but on the pitch as well, because if you have grass, it'll be a substantial amount of dew. But in the outfield you can use ropes and super soppers, but on the pitch you can't. So if the curator thinks there'll be a lot of dew, then they keep the pitch a little on the drier side, because if they keep the pitch normal and then the dew forms, then it becomes very tacky and sticky, right? Then it becomes again very helpful for the spinners. So to keep a balance, they try and keep the pitch in the first half a little on the drier side, and I think that's exactly what happened. It was a little drier, where in the first half the ball was stopping a little bit, it was gripping a little bit, but in the second half, the due happened, and then obviously you get 7 minutes of rolling time or roller time before the innings. I think the pitch only got better in the second half. So for me, I think it was a really good toss to win, and then electing to bowl first, I think that made a big difference in the outcome of the game. There are other things. Obviously, South Africa could have had a different approach, and New Zealand were very good in planning and execution of those plans. But I think toss played a big role in this game, and it does tend to happen at times. The due factor does affect the game in the subcontinent, especially this time of the year. According to me, they were not going to, wasn't in my top 4. And that's what New Zealand does. They're so consistent in how they play these big games, because it's another final for New Zealand, and this is, like I said, maybe 6th in the last 11 years or something. Invariably, they manage to be there, to get into the semi-finals, to get into the finals, and always kind of punch above their weights. And this is a question I'm sure all of us ask ourselves, at least I ask myself, as in why. That's a team which actually focuses on the process and not the end result. Big game, small game, doesn't matter. Secondly, I think in these all semi-final, final, more often than not, they get into that game as underdogs. And then thirdly, I guess they're just in general happy people. Yeah, it's a happy country, happy people. It's a beautiful country. It's just everything put together. It just seems like there's so much to look forward to. Okay, if they don't win a cricket game, that's fine. They'll start focusing on something else. Yeah, they're always a tough team to beat in these competitions. Most importantly, again in this final, they'll go in as underdogs. Well, yeah, odds would be against them, high scoring venue and all of them, but you never know. Another Finn Allen masterclass, maybe a Tim Seifert or anyone else, could be Lockie Ferguson with his bowling, or Matt Henry. So got to be very careful, because they are a great example how a team plays, how a team gets together and play as a unit. So I've never seen New Zealand play as 11 individuals, which a lot of teams at times they do, but never so with New Zealand. So they're really strong unit, and irrespective of who they're playing in Ahmedabad on the finals, they'll be hard to beat. They'll be really hard to beat. Again, going into the finals as underdogs, they've got nothing to lose. Thank you for watching Super Over Decoded, an initiative by Elite Sports.